Today we will discuss templates. Of course, in the last class, we have started templates, continuing the same. Okay. What is template? We said it is a generic model, generic data type, right? We can classify these templates into function templates, and class templates. In last class, we have seen function templates. Today, we will discuss class templates. Template is generally a generic data type, right? So if you have certain template types in the class, then we can say it is a class template. That's it, right? So I can say the class template is nothing but a generic class, right? The data over which these operations are carried out, right? I hope all of you are writing. It does not specify the data over which these operations are carried out. Okay. So template, as we said, is a generic data type which can be classified into function templates and a class template. It means that when you have the template types in function, we say it is a function template. If you have template data types in class, then we can say the class is a class template. Class template, of course, class is nothing but a set of functions and set of data members, rather, right? So when you say class template, it is a generic class, I can say, right? And the function that it consists of are said to be the function templates, rather, right? And these functions which specifies the operation but does not specify the data over which these operations are required to be carried out, right? So in similar lines of what we have discussed, mechanism behind the function template, class template is as well the same, right? So if you look at how do you define class template, is nothing but the using template keyword, right? Syntax, template followed by tags. Within the tags, you're mentioning class space T, okay? Then you will be declaring a class. How do you define a class? Class followed by the class name. So you will have the class name. Inside this class, you must be having T-type data types, right? Only then we say it's a template, right? So T-type data type you have such as x, y, z you can have, and you must be having certain functions. So the functions which you are having, generally functions consist of what? Return type. The function definition carries what? The return type, function name, arguments, right? So you mention the return type, function name followed by, and arguments could be of t kind, okay? So you can have like this, but when you are writing the code for this member function of this class template outside the class, as I said, all the functions of the class template are said to be the function template. It means when you are writing the source code for this particular function outside the class, you must have to treat it as a function template. So how do you write function template? Again, you need to write the template tag, right? Template tag. Then you must be writing the return type first. How do you define the function source code when you're writing it outside the class? First, you mention the return type of the class, right? Function, return type of the function. So return type of the function followed by the class name, right? When you write the class name, that must have to be followed by the template tag, okay? That is T. Then you write the scope resolution operator, then you write the function name, right? And then T, argument, T type argument, if you have in that function, you can have. And then you must be writing the code for the same, right? So you can see here, when you are writing the class template, if class is consisting of T type data type, then you must have to specify, the template with the help of template keyword template within the tags mentioning class space T. Then class name is of T type variables here, T of XYZ kind, and let us say it is having some function name here. So the function basically carries data type, function name, and the argument. So you give the prototype. This is said to be the prototype, right? Prototype, you give it in under the public mode of the same, and you define this code outside the class. If you want to define inside, you can define here itself. When you are defining here inside the class itself, you don't need to mention this template tag and all kind of thing, right? This template tag and all kind of thing. If you are writing inside, right? But if I am writing the source code of the function outside the class, then how do I basically do it? With the help of scope resolution operator. But the procedure is you'll have to first give the function prototype. This is a function prototype under the public mode of that particular class. Then you're going to define that source code of the particular function outside the class. When you're writing now the source code of the particular function outside the class, you will have to treat this as a function template. So in that case, then you have to first write the template tag, followed by the class T. Then you will have to mention the return type space, then followed by the class name. Again, here wherever the class name is going to be mentioned, it should be followed by the tag, right? Template tag. Scope resolution operator. Then you have the function name, then T type argument you can have. Now, when you are implementing this, right? When you are implementing this in the main, you will have to mention the data type for which you are going to implement this particular class. So let us say that class name, that class you want to implement it for, let us say, integer. Then for that T, you will be passing integer like this, okay? And then you can create an integer object of the same, and then you can implement its functions, right? I'm giving you here the generic form of the class template, but then if you are implementing it, okay, if the class name must be some name, rather, right? Function name must be some name, rather, right? I'm giving it a very generic fashion here. So when you want to implement this particular class, okay, for let us say integer, it means in place of this T, you want integer. Then what is that you're going to do when you are instantiating the particular class? the class name followed by the tag. Within the tags, you are going to mention the data type for which you want to implement the particular class, right? If I want to implement it for integer, I'll mention it as integer. Then followed by space, followed by the object name, right? So it is integer object, let us say. Then with that help of integer object, you can access all the functions that are associated with your class here. So let us say there is some function which you have mentioned as function name, so that you are going to access here, right? The advantage of having template is what? You can implement this class for any kind of data type, right? Team is generic. So if I want to implement it for integer, I do implement like this. If I want to implement it for, let us say, float kind, then I can instantiate this class, okay, for float kind, okay, like this. I can say float object, and then I can access the functions through this particular float object. Got it? So if I want to implement it for character, then I have to specify the data type within the tag as character, right? That way I can probably implement it for any type of data type for the particular class template, right? So the advantage of having this class template is what? Once I define it for generic kind, I can implement it for any kind of data type, right? So now the advantage that I'm going to get here in this particular example, if I'm implementing it for integer, now what happens? An integer version of this particular class template is going to be generated, right? So replacing t with integer. Someone's mic is on. Can you please mute it? Yes. So by replacing t with integer, what happens? A version of this particular class template is going to be generated for integer kind, and this integer object IOB is going to be an instance of that particular kind, right? So when I'm implementing the functions of this particular class, they are going to implement on integer kind, right? So that way, probably, I can have, okay, I can instantiate that class for float. If I'm instantiating here for float kind, then what happens? A new version of the same, replacing t with float, is going to be generated, and FOB is going to act as an instance for the particular class, right? And when I'm implementing the functions, through this FOB, those functions are going to be implemented for float kind, okay? Float kind. If you have any arguments, then you are going to pass float kind values for it, right? So similarly, I can instantiate that for character and all kind of thing, right? The advantage of having the class template is very similar to that of what we have discussed for function template, right? What are the advantages? It reduces the typing effort of the programmer. Okay, when it reduces the terminal, obviously the line of code is going to be reduced, right? So it reduces the, I can say, lines of source code. When it reduces the, source code, obviously the cost is going to be reduced, right? It thereby reduces the cost of the project. This is the main advantage. And then probably another scientific, system advantage is what? Reusability, right? It achieves reusability concept, right? You can use it again and again for different kind of data without having to write the code for all such kind of data type, right? It achieves reusability without having to write the same class, without having to write the class for same class for all data types. Fine. So it achieves what? It achieves the reusability concept. Yes or no? So without having to write the same class for all data types, you can use it for all. Once defined by replacing template type with respect to data type with respect to required data type, you can say, right? Required data type at the time of implementation. At the time of implementation. I hope you got this. Without having to write the same class for all data types, you can use it. You can use the same for all once defined by replacing template type with respect to required data type at the time of implementation. So at the time of implementing that particular class, it means while you're instantiating this particular class, you will be passing the data type to the template data type, which of course replaces, right? The data type which you are passing is going to replace that particular template type. So when it replaces, it generates a new version of the same, right? And then that version is going to be implemented for it, right? Memory point of view, if you see, the advantage is memory for class template is not going to be created, right? Is not going to be created. But when it is instantiated, with respect to a particular data type, a particular data type, a version of the same with respect to this data type is going to be generated. For this, the memory will be allocated. I hope all of you are writing. For this, the memory will be allocated. Because memory can be allocated only when you specify the data type. Because for data types, we know that how much memory is required to be created, and the system also does know. So when the variables are mentioned with certain data types, only then it can able to create the memory. But when you just specify it with the help of some kind of generic kind like template, where the system does not know how much memory is required, so it does not create. That means class templates, for class templates, memory will not be created, right? But when it is instantiated with respect to a particular data type, a version of the same with respect to this data type is then generated. For this, the memory is going to be allocated. For this, the memory is going to be created, right? So similarly, for it is going to be generated for. Similarly, memory is going to be generated. Memory is going to be generated whenever it is instantiated with respect to any data type. I hope it is clear to all of you, right? So the advantages of having the class templates are, you can see here, which I have mentioned. It reduces the typing out of the programmer. It reduces the lines of source code. It thereby reduces the cost of the project. This is one of the major advantage. Then from the system point of view, if you see, it achieves the reusability concept. Without having to write the same class for all data types, you can use it for all. Okay. Once defined, I mean the class template is defined by replacing template type with respect to required data type at the time of implementation, right? So what we can do, the memory is going to be allocated here for the instances you have created of that generic class with respect to a certain data type. That's what exactly I mentioned. Memory of class template. For class template is not going to be created, right? Memory of class template is not going to be, memory you can say for class template is not going to be generated, right? But when it is instantiated with respect to a particular data type, a version of the same with respect to this data type is going to be generated. For this, the memory will be allocated. Similarly, memory is going to be generated whenever it is instantiated with respect to any data type. I hope the class template is clear to all of you. I'll repeat this. See, templates are the generic data type. Fine. We can apply it on functions and classes. If you apply it on functions, it's a function template. If you apply it on classes, it's a class template. Function template we have seen in the previous class. Now coming to class template, it is a generic class I can see, which consists of function templates, because the functions, the member functions of the classes will be treated as function templates. Okay, when you write them outside the class, fine. It consists of functions which specifies the operation, but does not specify the data over which it is going to carry out, because the data is not mentioned, is of which kind rather, right? There's a reason why it does not specify, we are saying rather, right? So class template, we can say they are defined using the template keyword, right? The syntax, if you see template followed by the tag, within the tag you can say class space t. So this t kind of variable, if I have in that particular class, I can say that class is a class template, right? So and this class consists of certain functions of this kind, which are going to be treated as function template. So when you are writing the source code of the function outside the class, you are going to write it as a function template only. Writing the template tag first, then followed by the function, source code. When you are writing the functions outside the class, how do you write? Return type followed by class name, template tag, then scope resolution operator, function name, then t type arguments if you have, then you can define the code, right? So when you are implementing this particular class template, right, with the help of instances, of course. So how do you do that? While you are instantiating, you need to specify the data type for which you are going to create this instance, because the class is actually generic, right? T is generic. So for T, you need to specify the data type. You are, let us say, passing in, then what happens? T is going to be replaced with int, and a version of the same is going to be generated for which this IOB is going to act as an instance, right? And you are going to implement the function which associated with the particular class. When you're implementing with the help of this IOB, they are of integer kind, rather, right? Because all T type variables are being replaced with integer kind in this version, rather, right? So similarly, if you are, let us say, implementing it for float, I can implement that particular generic class for any data type, right? Here, for one instance, I have implemented it for integer. The another instance, I can implement it for float. So while you are implementing it for float, what do you do? While you are creating the instance to implement it for float, the data type for that particular T, you need to pass as float, right? The class name followed by float tag, right? And what happens when you pass a float to T there, then a version of this particular class template is going to be generated by replacing T with float, and for which this FOB is going to act as an instance. So the function which you are going to implement it with the help of FOB, they are going to perform it on float kind. Similarly, you can implement it for char and other kind of data types, right? So this is how the implementation of the class template is. Now looking at the advantages, as I said, it reduces the typing out of the programmer. It reduces the lines of the source code, right? Source code is going to be reduced. When it reduces the source code, thereby it reduces the cost also, we can say. It is cost effective, you can say, right? It achieves from system point of view reusability concept, right? For each data type, without having to write the same class again and again, the same can be used, right? That is the advantage. And from memory point of view, if you see what happens for class template, memory will not be created, but whenever you create an instance of this particular class with respect to certain data type, a version of the same which is been generated, for which the memory is going to be allocated, and for which for which this particular instance is going to be associated with, and you are going to implement the same. So similarly, if you are, let us say, implementing it for another kind of data type, so similarly, for every time when you are going to create an instance with respect to new kind of data type, a version of the same is going to be generated, replacing the T with this particular data type for which the memory is going to be allocated, right? And the same is going to be implemented. So this is from the memory point of view. I hope this is clear to all of you. Now we can let us look at the demonstration of the template class. So let us look at this particular example. Is it legible to all of you? Are you able to see this?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, in this class you can see there is one function called add, right? So add function is having two arguments of T kind. See this particular class A, I am saying it is a class template because it is having T type variable inside. So for such kind of classes, how do you define with the help of template keyword, right? Template within the text class, you have mentioned the template type as T, right? So in this class A, you can see there is one function add having two T type of arguments, rather, right? Now, while you are defining the source code of this particular add outside the class, how do you define? As I said, it has to be treated as a function template. It means you have to write the template tag first. You can see template followed by class, like how you have here. Then you are going to mention the return type. Return type is void here, right? And then a space, then followed by the class name. Class name is A, and wherever the class is there, class name must have to be followed with the template tag. You can see here it is followed by the template tag. Then you have the function name, that is add. Add of here I'm taking two arguments of T kind. So I'm taking the form variables as num1 and num2. Here we are adding those num1 and num2 and displaying the same, right, with the help of this cout function, right? Is that okay? So now I want to implement this particular class, that is class A, for integer ones and for float as well. So you can see here, if I have to implement it for integer, let us say D1 is an object of the A kind to be implemented for integer kind, then how do you do that? In general, you just mention the class name followed by the object name, but then here class name followed by the tag, you can see, right? And this tag must consist of the data type for which this particular instance is going to be created. If I want to create it for integer, then I have to mention the data type as integer. You can see here I have mentioned here int. So A followed by int. So now what happens? A version of this particular class is going to be generated, replacing t with integer, and for which the memory is going to be allocated, and this is going to act as an instance for that particular version. So now when I call add function of the same by passing the integer values like 4 and 5, it's going to give me the result. And at another instance, you can see I have created it for float kind, right? So instead of int, I am here passing the float while creating the instance of A, fine, that is D2. Now when I am calling the add function, I'll be passing the float values for the same, right? So it's going to give me the float result here, right? Fine, let us execute this and see. You can see here addition of, I have all of you can see, addition of num1, num2 is 9, because 4 plus 5 is 9. And addition of num1, num2 here in float, you can see 4.3, 6.7 will give you what? 11. So here what happened, it has implemented it from the integer version, and at the second one it has implemented it from the character version, right? So when you set this, what has happened? An integer version of this A is generated, right? And D1 is acting as an instance of this, right? So this 4 and 5 is coming from here. But when you say a float of D2, then a version of float kind is generated of A, right? And D2 is an instance of this, right? And add, when you are calling, it is coming from here, right? So the implementations are different. You can see this is implementing it for integer, this is implementing it for float. I hope this is clear to all of you. Yes, I have another example to show you. I'll show you another example which I have basically mentioned in assignment. I told you to, implement it for stack. Data structure stack. I think it's not yet over for you, right? Okay. Anyway. That example I've already written, but then we will discuss in the next class. Now, let us say if I want to have here multi-templates in the sense certain variables in this class of some kind and certain variables are of another kind, okay? In that case, I can have here more than one template type to be declared in template tag, okay? That also I'll show you with an example here. That is said to be multi-template. So in the same class, I will be having multiple data types for the single instance. I hope it is what I wanted to discuss with you is clear, right? I'll take that example and show you. See, multi-template, this is implemented it for function. The same I can implement it for class as well, okay? See, I wanted to have two different data type in the function, right? One is of integer kind, another one is of float kind, right? Then in such situation, my template definition is going to be changed. So in the template definition, I can have multiple t-type variables. I mean, multiple template type variables. And here I have taken x is one template variable and y is another template variable. It means X and Y, these two are going to act as template data types now in my function, right? So this X could be one data type while implementing, and Y could be another data type. Got it? So here in this function, X I have taken as A, and Y variable I have taken as B, and the values which I'm going to pass during the implementation of this particular function template, passing integer, for example, for A, and float for B, then the same is going to be here displayed. So you can see here this particular function, while I have implemented, I am calling it. While I am calling it, you can see for X I am passing integer, and for Y I am passing float kind. In that situation, what happens here? A version of this particular function is going to be generated, replacing X with integer, Y with float. Got it? X with integer, Y with float, and the same is going to be implemented. As we know that for function template, memory will not be allocated, right? For this, there is no memory. But then when you are calling it, we're passing 15 is integer, right? So for X, what is that you're passing? Integer, right? So here in place of X, integer, and the second argument that you're passing is 12.3, which is a float. So in case of Y, it is float, right? So now what happens? A function, a version of this particular function is going to be generated, replacing X with integer, Y with float, and that is going to be implemented here. Fine. So the value which you have passed 15 will be taken as integer for A and then display the same. And the value which you are passing 12.3 will be taken as float and display it for B. Okay. So this is how the implementation is written. It means you can have multiple function, multiple template types. Got it? This example is basically demonstrating it for function. The same you can have it for classes as well. It means you can have multiple data, multiple template types for the classes as well. I hope it is clear to all of you, right? You can see the output here. Value of A is 15, value of B is 12.3, right? In that class example, if you want to take multiple data types, we can just change that and then demonstrate it rather, right? Now we'll see the class template. One example which we have taken is template class.cpp. So let us take this example. This I wanted to implement it for what? Multiple template types. So what is that I have to pass? Here I can say instead of P, I can say T1. Now I say this is T2. So it means my class can consist of two different data type variables, T1 kind and T2 kind rather, right? So let us take this as T1 and this as T2, okay? And let us just display the values otherwise instead of printing, because if you are adding, then you have to do the type conversion. Okay. I'll just display the values rather, right? Another time. First type value, that's it is. and another type, let's say, in the next, right? I need not to say this std because I've already said using namespace there. But if I'm using endl, endl is also similar to that of \n to print the cursor on the next line. But if I am using it directly, I have to use it through std. I don't think it is required now. I'll just remove this. Okay, first type value, then I say second type value. Now let us say this is some 5.7. Okay, and here this is float, and let us say this is integer. I've changed the data type. Okay, so you can let us look at this particular example. Here in this example, I'm taking two template data types, right? T1 and T2. So this class A consists of the function add, where it is having two arguments, T1 and T2, T1 kind and T2 kind. T1 could be one data type and T2 could be another data type. Okay. And while I'm defining the function outside the class, I'll be treating it as a function template. So I write the template tag first, then write. Here you can see T1, I should say, comma, class T2, right? Like how I have the template tag, in the same fashion I need to mention here as well. And again, wherever the class name is there, that class name must be followed with that multiple template types. Again, earlier it was only one, so I said T, but now we have two, so T1 comma T2, I should say. And this is of, let us say, T1 kind, and let us say this one is of T2 kind. Okay, is that clear? And now while I'm here instantiating the D1 class, I must have to specify what is the data type that I am passing for the first template data type, and what is that I am passing it for the second one. The first one I am passing, let us say, integer. Second one I am passing float. Then a version of this particular class replacing T1 with integer, T2 with float will be created, and for which this D1 is going to act as an instance, and add function is going to be called for the same. So, well, T1 is being called, T1 is going to act as integer, T2 is going to act as float. Now, when I am creating D2, I am reversing this data types, right? First one I am taking a float, and another one I am taking the second one I am taking as integer, right? So in that case, now what happens? A version of this class is going to be generated with T1 replaced with float and T2 replaced with int, right? And for which T2 is going to act as an instance. And now when you are calling the add function, the first one, first argument is going to be the float kind, and second one is going to be the integer kind. I hope this is clear to all of you.